This Dicebreaker video is sponsored by Wild Bills. Ditch the manufactured flavors. Your taste buds deserve better. Treat yourself to Wild Bill's premium handcrafted soda pop. Mouth-watering beverages that allow you to escape to the most interesting places imaginable. Cheers to refusing the drink from the mainstream. Cheers to kick-ass canned. Cheers to being veteran-owned and operated. At Wild Bills, flavor isn't everything. It's the only thing. Use discount code CHEERS15 for 15% off your first order.
Hello and welcome back to Dicebreaker for the second episode of our Avatar Legends RPG playthrough. We are joined once again by our guest GM Simon from Empire Games, and I'm going to throw over to Simon so he can give us a little recap of what's been going on, what we're playing today, and then we can get playing.
Yeah. So once again, we are playing Avatar Legends, the role-playing game based on the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender and the Legend of Korra. We are telling a story in the Four Nations. Specifically, our group of heroes are trying to deliver important information to a rebel leader in the Western Earth Kingdom without being caught by the Fire Nation soldiers that they've stolen that information from. They've come to a fire festival in the Western Earth Kingdom looking for supplies and have stumbled upon a local issue of some sort that they're going to try and resolve.
Okay, so I think we last were viewing Alex Meehan's character, who was called Vabeau. Well, I knew that off.
Yeah, absolutely. I could see.
Yeah, who was in the middle of a conversation with someone quite important.
Yeah. So what we do are previously on Avatar, and we see snippets of what just happened. Our crew had stolen some battle plans from a Fire Nation Admiral Han, who was going to burn down this forest in the Western Earth Kingdom to try and get at one outlaw, one Robin Hood type outlaw. And everyone who stands in her path will just have to deal with it. They're just casualties of war. We saw our team sort of have a little bit of their dynamic. We learned a little bit about how they interact with each other. They made their way to this village, Juge Village, which is having this big fire festival. It's a Fire Nation colony, so it's got a mixture of earth and fire cultures. Vabeau bumped into a mysterious figure that's been shadowing you since you've arrived and sees that you're maybe troublemakers and maybe is into that. So the last thing that we see is Vabeau very standoffishly going like, "What are you afraid of?" And the person behind the green mask reveals themselves and says, "I'm afraid nobody's going to do anything." So we're going to jump cut and pick up after the group has reconvened somewhere. So I think you're in the back of a noodle house that's not being used.
Delicious.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for some extra calories in my system. I'm thinking about food now. So I think this is a place that has taken most of their goods out to like the street vendors. So the noodle shop itself is closed. And so you're like in the back of this kitchen. And the group of you is assembled with this person who has their green fox mask, but has it sort of tilted up at this point, so you can see their whole face. And they've introduced themselves as Tai. And so where we open up is Tai saying, "You're all troublemakers of some kind. That's good. I could use the extra help. I'm not the green fox, but I believe in the cause. I need some help."
I think you just hear cling, 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 as both Shur and Bobo are like looking through the cupboards for some kind of food and like.
Oh, me too.
Okay, and Karru as well. Just like all three of us.
Rifling through stuff.
I've got like a scrap of meat hanging in my mouth, like, "Oh, you need help?"
Yeah, they've left a big pot of some kind of soup out that you can easily list. Like, you've got the scraps, and then I think you notice, oh, there's some leftover ramen or something. Oh, snap!
Karru, look.
Yeah. I think.
No, the thing is... Sorry, carry on, mate.
Yeah, Vabeau is actually sat at the table with Ty and like is paying attention to what they're saying, and her feet are like up on one of the chairs, and her arms are crossed again. She's looking at Ty. She's like, "So you need our help to do what exactly?" And again, in the background.
So I think Ty explains a little bit about what's happening. Ty says, Juge Village has been an icon in the area for a long time. Our mine has been able to extract minerals. That's given us wealth. That's given us prosperity and given people work. When the Fire Nation came, Governor Zhao said that he would keep things balanced, that he would make sure that we were all represented. And people believed that. And what we've seen is that we, and they gesture at the greens that they're very clearly wearing to identify themselves as a member of the Earth Kingdom. It's like it's not just like we're wearing street fashion, it's like a statement piece. We do the work, and Ty gestures at both Shur and Vabeau's clothing, right? Because you're from the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
And they take the profits.
I haven't taken anything from you. What are you talking about?
Not you, but sorry, people like you.
Fire Nation, you know, ass kissers, I guess. You can say that
Wow.
in a children's show.
If anything, you need
Butt
to combine it with
kissers.
another animal.
Yeah.
Somewhere a donkey brays off screen.
Yeah. Yeah, Vabeau says, "Look," and she puts her feet down and puts her hand on the table. Yeah, Firebender, hi. Yeah. We've all lost something to the Fire Nation, regardless of where we're from. So we can be sympathetic to your needs. However, we also have a very, very important mission to complete. However, you might be able to help us with that.
So sort of a I scratch your back, you scratch mine situation.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually. My arms are too big to reach mine.
I'm not about that. I'm here for the food, but I'll help with whatever you need. And I think she's like using her firebending to like make the pot full of ramen like bubble. Like it's like
bubbling
bubbling.
heats it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Baku is sat at the table with Vabeau. Kind of keeps eyeing Karru and Shur, like guzzling down food, like a little enviously, but is trying to put across a good front. This is a professional kind of. I'm here to do business. I'm here to represent, and to be upstanding.
If I notice that, I will like take him over like a little bowl and here you go. Soup's on.
He very gently kind of says like, "Thank you." But he says to Ty, he's like, "I also know what it's like to represent a tribe under threat. I'm Baku of the Southern Water Tribe. Could I ask Simon, is there like if this is a noodle house, is there kind of like a window or like a hatch for people being served outside, if that makes sense? Is there...
for sure.
Because I think in that case, Shu, my cat gator, is probably sticking her head through just the window, and maybe I'm also like feeding a little bit of like noodle soup or.
So it's like looking
Shu
into
gator.
Yeah,
exactly. Do cat gators have cat-like tongues or gator-like tongues?
They're catfish, aren't they, Rob?
They're like catfish gators. Yeah.
Sure.
They're like kind of eels, aren't they? Like cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, she's just kind of licking the soup out of the bowl. We're taking like one each. Right?
Oh,
It's animated so that the bowl is in Shu's mouth, so that we don't have to see which kind of tongue it is. The
Yeah.
animator's like, we're not going to figure that out.
yeah.
That's for somebody else to deal with. They didn't pay us to do the world building on it.
I think like way too far gone later. Vabeau will like copying Shur in a kind of way will be like nudging over a bowl of something to Shu just to like
Right. It's
away.
like, oh, second one. Oh, that's great. Rah, 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 happily going. Yeah, Ty's kind of looking all of you over. And you, Vabeau, mentioned like we've all suffered. Vabeau, you've suffered the most out of anyone because you're the idealist, right? So the idealist has seen some sort of tragedy that has like driven their worldview. They have lost something, and so as we're having this conversation, we flash back to a moment, a glimpse of that. What does that look like? What scene are we seeing that motivated you to go out and do good in the world?
Yeah, so we're seeing like probably about 10-year-old Vabeau. At that point their hair is very short, almost like they almost look androgynous sort of. And they're standing there and they have their arm like around a smaller child. They're probably about 6, and that child's like head is like against their side, like hiding it, and you can hear them crying. And she looks at this small townhouse that is now a smoking ruin. And she's standing just out of sight. You can kind of see her like from the corner of like an alleyway, just so she can't be seen. And there are Fire Nation soldiers walking out of it, and you can hear snippets of their conversation from like where the camera is with Vabeau, and they're just sort of saying, "Yeah, I heard they were traitors. They had secrets of the Fire Nation. God, I'm glad we got them. Well, they're a smoking wreck now. They'll never see the light
That's
of day
right, my
again."
exposition friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I'm working with the medium.
It's good. It's good.
I'm working here.
I'm working here.
As-
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Yeah. I think the flashback kind of like fades away. Unless you had anything to add.
No, I think as it fades, I think we see sort of the reaction of that memory as Ty's like, well, I've known pain. And perhaps for Vabeau, we don't know if Vabeau thinks, no, whatever you're suffering, it's not what I've suffered. Or if it's empathy or anything like that. How does the memory make Vabeau feel most of the time?
I think it makes her feel incredibly driven. I think that's the word that we like. She on her balance sheet, like for example, like action is very much a driving force for her, because like after this terrible event happened, rather than try and gather what she has left and kind of protect that, it's very much everything for the cause. Like that's all that matters. So I think there definitely is a feeling of you have no idea like what suffering is,
Right.
and what I've sacrificed.
I have given the most,
Yeah.
Everyone hurts, but I will always hurt more than anyone else. Yeah. Shift your balance towards action as this memory washes over you. And sort of Ty's kind of, I think, pushing you in that direction too a little bit of like, we need to do something now, but also feeling like remembering why you're doing what you're doing. The idea that your family was harmed because of their political beliefs, whether or not that's true. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll never find out. But we'll play to find out what happens there. But that fills you with this kind of like, I need to do something. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's committing you to the cause. So yeah, Ty explains. Again, Governor Zhao said that we'd be equal, but we weren't. all these Fire Nation nobles that come in here, the merchants, the upper class, even the lowliest people that manage to come out here, they've somehow all moved up in society. People that had nothing now have homes bigger than mine, my family's. And even the best of us, we've hit a wall. There's nothing we can do to improve. And my friends, my family, I'm sure you've seen the festival and the fireworks everyone talks about. We work day and night to make those happen. They put us to work in the sulfur quarry. It's dangerous. We're the ones that know how to bend it. But they're not giving us the support that we need so that they can have their festival every year. And that's supposed to make us want to be a part of their community. That's not sharing culture. That's celebrating their own and putting us at the bottom.
Yeah, and also getting you out of the way if I were to, think about it a bit, But I mean, I'm not at the top or anything of the. I was a part of the military, but I'm not anymore. So, but I'm sorry.
After a big slurp of soup, Karru just sort of slams down an empty bowl on the table and says, "Look, we can talk about what we used to be as much as you want, but what's important is what we're going to do about it, all right?" And out of his... he wears sort of like a sleeveless gi that he's like ripped open.
Yeah.
He sort of like pulls out the papers and slams them down on the table and says, "Now, I'm sure a lot of people would probably think I'm stupid for this, but let me tell you what we're all about here. These plans, a lot of people are going to die if the Fire Nation gets their hands on them. So if you can help us get them to your leader, we'll help you with whatever you need."
Ty looks down at the plans and like eyes go wide. Like, this is incredible. And like Ty looks it over like, this is the Green Fox's hideout. How did you get this? This is the forest around it. Are these fire bombs? They're going to push tanks in here?
That forest is not going to last long if you don't do something about this.
They can't do that. There's people that live all the way across that whole... There's dotted villages. They're not on any maps, but people still live there. And they're going to just burn it all down just to get at us?
Earth Kingdom people. That's the difference here. Earth Kingdom people.
Yeah, it's kind of a, just root out the problem, but just, whole big, huge fire approach. It's a classic maneuver.
I'm getting the sense that Shur is not sure how to handle this situation, right? This probably makes you feel very uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
I think Shur might need to mark a condition in this moment. Because you're like, I'm not with the military, but I know everything about this. I'm not that. I don't know how I can convince you that I'm not what you think I am or what I look like. But
I want to help, but...
Right. What do you think you feel? Afraid, angry, foolish, or guilty, or insecure?
Oh, guilty, 100%.
Yeah. Go ahead and tick the guilty box on your character sheet.
Right.
So there's a couple of different things that we're tracking on your character that are kind of moving around at all times. Fatigue, which is a measure of your stress and your physical exertion. Conditions, which is sort of your emotional state. It's a little bit like your HP, but it's not a reflection of how much physical harm you've taken. It's more of like how much strain have you taken and how much of the burden of the world is waiting on you. And then there's your balance track that's kind of shifting back and forth. If you fill these tracks up, nothing happens. But if you have to mark something on these tracks, and you can't, because all of your conditions are marked or all of your fatigue is marked, you're taken out. Either you collapse because you're so exhausted you can't go on, or you just give in to being overwhelmed by everything around you. So you've got guilty marked. What this means is that as long as you have that condition marked, you're going to have -2 when you try to push your luck, and -2 to deny someone calling you out. which is a move that we haven't gotten to yet. But it's essentially someone could try and say, you need to do this in relation to one of your principles, right? Loyalty or confidence. So you have a harder time resisting people telling you you have to do this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
That
we
makes
see
sense.
this moment of your face of like the guilt, right? And maybe we even flash back to a moment of like your training. There's a drill instructor who's going through the motions. You're a firebender, right? Okay, so I think there's a drill instructor who's like walking up and down a row of training dummies that have various clothing on them representing the different nations of people, and is yelling at everyone, I want you to put as much of your anger and energy into this attack. The enemy does not care about your feelings. The enemy does not want you to succeed. The enemy thinks that we are doing something evil. We are not. We are bringing order to the 4 nations. What do you say? And everyone goes, rah! Rah! Right. And he looks at you, and everyone's kind of doing these fire jets, I think, like concentrated fire on the targets. And maybe yours is sputtering a little bit. Because we get the sense that you're having this moment of doubt, right? And he gets right in your face. Like your fire is dwindling, and he's like right next to you. He's yelling. You can feel his hot breath on your already hot body. Right, exactly. It's like, I'm not seeing enough energy out of you, Shur. What's
Sorry,
your problem?
Sir. No problem, sir. I'm just struggling.
When you get out there on the battlefield and you struggle, people die, Shur. Do you want people to die?
No, sir.
Do you want to be responsible for the reason that your unit falls apart?
No, sir.
That's right. They're not going to give you an inch. I'm giving you the chance to make yourself better. Now shape up. I want a tighter stance on that and concentrated fire, and that dummy better be ash in 10 seconds.
Yes, sir.
We flash back. Whew. The guilt washes over you. Like, they want you to be a machine.
Mm-hmm.
And you were... Shur clearly seems like, that's not me anymore. I don't want to do that.
That's yeah, no, exactly. She's just kind of it's once again pushing that kind of side of herself away and just thinking, that's not who you are anymore. You're your own person, and you're going to help people.
Yeah. So as we've had these moments, Ty is looking over the plans and goes, yeah, okay, well, I will help you. I'll do what I can to get you to the forest. First, we need to do something. The festival's tonight. The big display. Biggest that we've ever done. I've got a plan. The garrison is camped right next to the storage warehouse. Ty reaches across their tunic and reveals a bandolier of grenades and firecrackers and things like that. I can't bend, but I know how to make these work. If we can get in and destroy the fireworks before the festival, we can destroy their camp. There's soldiers that are marching out in the morning, and who knows where they're going. Maybe they're going to the forest. If we stop them now, they won't be able to hurt anyone.
Well, sabotage is definitely an option, for sure. We can catch them now before they even try to act, then hell, maybe we can get an advantage on this, because it's a pretty big plan, as you can see. It's a full-on assault on this entire area of the Earth Kingdom. Maybe this could even just delay them for a bit. ultimately our goal is to find this green fox and warn them of this plan. I certainly think doing this will help us with that, but I don't think it will stop them.
No, but it's a starting point, right?
It's certainly a starting point, so, hell, I'm in.
Karru leans back. He's a little bit unsure. He's like, not much of a fair fight, is it?
If you want to rush in and beat them up, be my guest. These people have made the lives of these people a living hell. You think I'm going to stop you if you want to crack a few skulls? Ty's trying to shift Karu's balance towards force. Like, hey, like, you want to get there and mix it up? Do it. Karru will, or Ty will not stop you. So for you, right now, you can choose to take that shift towards force or deny it and try and resist and say, like, wait, I'm going to stick up to my guns right now. What do you think?
No, I think I agree with Ty. Yeah, I want to crack some skulls.
And like, yeah, maybe you crack your fingers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And Ty's nodding, like, yeah, that's the kind of energy we need. That's the kind of person
Listen.
who takes action.
You need a distraction. You know where to look.
I was going to say distraction sounds, that sounds like a grade A distraction. So, yeah, I agree.
Vabeau looks over at Baku and said, how about you? What do you think?
Well, we're here to help, right? But
Yeah.
count us in.
Yeah, we're here to help.
Yeah. And, like, steadily getting more and more kind of puffed up as confidence almost fills
Hyping
from the
himself
bottom
up.
like a balloon. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a responsibility as part of your burden, right? And that includes overthrowing tyrants. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and also providing aid and succor to the downtrodden, which I feel like both of those boxes ticked here in helping out. It's just that, as with everything with Baku, it's just a case of following through on that promise. But I think once he kind of gets himself hyped up, and he's in the right group for that to happen. He's like a rock that gets pushed downhill. It's like, it's slow, and then like once it's going, it's going.
There's no stopping it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I think maybe as you're committing yourself to the group, we hear repeated in Elder Umik's voice the commands of like, we have to stand up to these people. You must stand up to injustice. We've got to keep these people from suffering. You must aid the suffering, and so forth, right? And like, we see that reaffirmation.
And I think as Baku's kind of going like, we can do it, we will do it. He kind of then just repeats kind of a little more quietly to himself, like, I can do it. I will do it.
Yeah. Feeling centered. Yeah.
Karru's like getting pumped up, and he gives you one of his signature heavy back slabs. But I think you actually
this time I
stand through it. Yeah.
Simon, can I maybe use a move?
Yeah. What are you trying to do?
So I've marked down here's the plan as one of my moves.
Ooh.
So it's like when you work out a plan with someone, you can roll creativity, and then a bunch of other stuff will happen depending on the roll. Do you think that's about right?
Yeah, we can do that. So what we see is Shur working it out with everyone, right? What do you do? Is it sort of like you take the maps, or you draw something on charcoal or something, and you're kind of doing the tactical plan, the heist plan sequence?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's kind of like she's using all of her military experience, and she's channeling the guilt she feels into making this plan go forward, and she's like playing to everyone's strengths, just like Karru's like forcing in, running in, and then like Vabeau's in like intel and like infiltration kind of stuff, and Baku's just enthusiasm and yeah, sure. Baku's got some stuff, and then Ty's understanding of the whole layout and stuff.
He's providing Baku.
Exactly. So that's her thing.
So when you work out a plan with someone, you're going to roll with your creativity.
Cool. So it says add +1 to one stat, and I chose that for creativity, so I think I have +2.
You should have +2.
Fantastic.
The
Okay.
bold is very good at thinking on the fly and coming up with plans. That's your strength.
Oh. No, I've lost one. Okay.
Oh no.
I did roll a 6 on one of them, though.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
start.
good.
And I'm rolling the
You've at
second
least
one.
passed.
That is 2 6s.
Hey,
Wow.
look at that. Spicy.
So that is
That is
14.
watertight.
Very, very good.
Ooh.
On a hit, everyone present while you lay out the plan becomes prepared. So if you've looked at the previews for the game, if you've seen previous versions of the Quick Start, these were not in the game, but they are now. The system is a little bit in flux right now, but the core things of what you're seeing here in these episodes is going to be more or less the same, right? Very few things are going to change between now and then about like the way that the combat works, the way that these moves work, but some of the little details will change. And one of the cool updates that's just come out are these status effects. Prepared means that all of you, as long as you're prepared, you're ready for what's coming next. You can clear your prepared, you can sort of spend that ability to get +2 to an appropriate roll, so something about executing this plan, or you can spend it to avoid marking a condition. Because you know what's going to come, right? Ty is working with you to explain, like, here's what the guards are, here's what they can do, here are the entrances and exits, etc. So we don't need to hash out all the details, but you can sort of say, oh, I prepared for this, I'm going to add +2 to my roll. Or avoid marking a condition, because I knew that they were going to do that.
Amazing.
In addition, you get some other fun stuff here.
Ooh.
On a 10+, you get 2 hold, so you have another resource to track. So if you want to take like a second die and turn it to a 2, however you want to track it. You can spend this hold, this sort of temporary resource, 1 for 1, while you're carrying out this plan, to either aid someone and give them +1 to their roll, rally someone to make them inspired, which is another status effect, or call out a warning or command and negate a condition or fatigue they would otherwise mark.
Cool.
So someone's like, oh, I'm about to get hit with a fire blast. Watch out, we knew these guys are firebenders.
Yeah.
You can negate the condition.
I've seen this before.
Right. So we get this cool overhead shot of like time passing outside. The sun kind of starts to set. Shur goes through a lot of the different ramen bowls.
Yeah, I think Vabeau like wrestled a bowl of ramen because she's not
I
had
need
it
some
yet.
too.
Gimme.
Yeah, I think she manages to get it by like heating up the bowl enough so that she was like.
Is that how like the passage of time is tracked? It's just like the building of ramen
The bowls
balls,
just-
like,
Yeah.
goes from a
Yeah.
couple to a stack to, you know.
Like you've gone to one of those rotating sushi places, and you get this just the 200 plates by the end. Just. But we finally come to sundown. So the festival's been going on all day, and now we hear the cicadas in the kind of late summer, early evening. Everything is it's darker now, but the streets are bright with these bright, colorful lanterns. There are fire jugglers who are walking around, showcasing things. There are some people trying to do like different street performances and things like that. Music, different foods are cooking. If it was busy before, it's even busier now, right? Everyone's a little extra ready to go, and everyone is buzzing everywhere you go. People are like, what do you think the fireworks are going to be like? Do you think they're going to do the thing where they did the giant dragon is going to come out again? Like, oh, no, they're not going to do that. They wouldn't do that 2 years in a row. They're always trying to up themselves. It's always going to be something else. So everyone's anticipating. But we jump cut to the plan, which is to sabotage this warehouse, right? So where the camera kind of pans across the city, we see some of you, maybe all of you, I don't know if you're doing teams of 2 or anything like that. The warehouse itself is this big stone and wood structure that has barrels full of stuff. You can kind of smell the sulfur and the black powder. You can see there are rockets and displays, and there's like paper mache things that maybe are going to be lit aflame. We don't know. And right next to that is a military encampment. So they're houses that have been commandeered or tents that have been set up as a military base. And there's all these troops. And the troops themselves, the Fire Nation soldiers, are helping like load things in. They're involved in the production of the festival. So who's where? What do we see on the team?
So you guys are sneaking and I'm walking directly to the front door, right? So
I think so.
yeah.
Matt, do you have any ideas for Baku? I feel like you're ruminating.
Yeah.
I have a plan, but I don't know if it's going to be too bombastic.
Oh, what a surprise!
Hardly.
Matt
In
Jarvis'
Avatar?
plan,
Oh, no.
and it's chaotic.
So I figure if Shur and Vabeau are sneaking, right, and Karru, sorry, Karru is like distract. I feel like I'm on team distraction. I feel like that's the way we split, and then Ty is probably like helping out here, there, and everywhere. So if with your permission, group, fellow companions, travelers, etc. I feel like if Karru is distracting at the kind of gates you're striding in, we want to get in this warehouse, right?
Yeah.
Like that would be a good place to get. So I feel like Baku could sidle up on Shu, and on the back of Shu is the kind of biggest bowl of ramen, like kind of like stew pot, crock pot kind of thing.
A cauldron.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Baku water bends the ramen.
The soup.
Yeah, into. Simon, did you say the warehouse was kind of brick?
Yeah, I think it's got some brick and wood. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's kind of bricked with mortar in between, if I can soak the
Very
ramen
elaborate.
into the mortar between the bricks and then make it expand.
Oh.
This is a classic Matt Jarvis, Simon. This is a classic Matt Jarvis plan, which is
I love it. I love what's happening.
like a snake. Just
Look, we
Quick
need
aside.
to get in that warehouse.
I'm here to enable it. Yeah, so you want to like sift the mortar away so that you can create a very subtle path in, right? Like
Yeah,
the
I
intent.
guess if it goes well, and on worse, ramen explosion and the wall's gone.
right, who can say?
wow,
Okay.
ramen
To-
explosion.
Just quick aside. Are we wetting the building that we want to blow up?
I mean, either way, it'll destroy the fireworks, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, a
okay.
cauldron of ramen's not going to stop an entire building going bang.
Yeah, sure.
I whisper to
Fine.
Vabeau as we're like sneaking along. I say, and also to Bobo, just like, I've never seen a ramen bender before. Wow.
Yeah, Vabeau's just like looking down at like Baku and Shu like walking up to the building, and I'm like, well, I'll give him this. It's very unconventional. Oh God, I hope it works, because otherwise we're gonna have to get him out of there.
I
With
mean,
the-
I've
with
never
the-
really thought outside of the box before, so this is really exciting.
So let's see how this ramen explosion plan happens. I'm gonna have to think a band or something named Ramen Explosion. Go ahead and roll with your focus, because I think you're relying on your skills and training to do this.
Yeah.
Using your water bending to overcome an obstacle.
I've got +1 focus as the
Alright.
icon. I rolled 8 + 1 is 9.
Okay, so you're gonna do it imperfectly.
That sounds like Baku.
Can I don't know
If you want, you can spend your prepared and add +2 to the roll,
you can do that.
or you can just take it as is.
You know what? I think this is a good time to spend prepared. If this is like a key part, I feel
The
like
plan,
this is
yeah.
the thing Baku wants to follow through on. Like this is the thing that makes him the hero he thinks he is.
Right. Making the
so
plan happen, right?
Yeah, this is his role in this whole plan. So
Yeah.
like it's gonna happen.
hook by crook?
Yeah, and there's no like time pressure and so on. So I think this is something where prepared is justified.
He spends that focus of like, well, this is the way we're going to get in, and it has to go perfectly. There we go. And I don't want to
Yeah.
mess up anything else. So you do it flawlessly on a hit, right? Tell us what that looks like as you're bending the soup onto the bricks and they kind of slow away.
Yeah, so I think it's the ramen is bending out of the cauldron, which is on Shu's back, and there's like a little stream that's going into Shu's mouth as well. So Shu's just kind of like chewing, like it's filtering out the noodles and just
perfect.
Yeah, the kind of the water split from the ramen soup is going into the mortar, and like I say, I think it's, you know, when sand gets wet and it just kind of like slimes away.
Yeah,
that's happening. And because it's happening flawlessly, I think it happens from the top down. And as the mortar kind of disintegrates, Baku is able to just kind of like slide each brick out gently, just forming like a neat little pathway, but very subtly.
Very, very subtly.
No ramen explosion required.
You have this flawless hole in the wall, and nobody would suspect. They'd be like, oh, this is a pile of bricks. How did this get here? There was a wall here briefly, or at least part of one. So you've got an entrance. Meanwhile, Karru is trying to make a distraction, right? So what's that look like?
So Karru is strolling confidently right up to the front door of the enemy encampment or garrison or whatever it is. Is it a building or is it a camp? Or?
I think it's like a couple of huts and then sort of a bigger open courtyard space that's been filled with tents. Okay. So it was never meant to hold soldiers, but now it's just like covered in military temporary housing and stuff. So
he's walking right up to whatever, like, you know, the front gate or the front door, whatever is blocking people from walking in.
Yeah.
Would it be okay to say that the people who were guarding the door were the ones that we saw earlier?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's a mixture of them, right? So there's Fire Nation soldiers inside, and the guards outside were Earth Kingdom guards. So they're there anyway. They're there to make sure that their allies, in theory, don't get harassed. So they see you coming, and one of them goes, "Oh, can you believe the nerve of this? Hey, you! I know you don't listen so good, so I'm gonna tell you one more time.
I think Karru just holds a finger up as if to say, shut up. Yeah, he's trying to rile them up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he just goes, oh, what's up, boneheads? Listen, earlier, I got myself a nice score, and you took it off of me, so if you don't mind, I'm going to walk right in there, and I'm going to take it back. Now, you could either let me in, or... and I think Karru looks over his shoulder and tries to find something large and rock-like. maybe it's like sulfur, from the mines or something. And using his bending, he sort of lifts it up in the air and says, or I'll just make my own way in. And then normally he's quite casual and sort of relaxed, but you see all of the muscles in his body sort of tense up. Like, he's very built. He's like a big sort of big dude. The sort of like, you know, like the necklace that he has around him is sort of like lifting up a little bit as well. I think it's like made out of like chunks of rock. And he does like this almost like a spinning heel kick in the air, but the kick is to fling the boulder directly into the wall next to them and just crash a hole through.
Yeah. So you start to pull up this big chunk of like pyrite from nearby before it's been extracted, and they see it and they're like, you've already thumbed your nose at them, so they look at each other like, can you?
He
crack
bit his
their
thumb.
knuckles. They start to walk towards you, and you're like, or I'll make my way, and you start to hurl this rock. So what we're gonna do is jump into what's called a combat exchange. Ooh. So what these are is not like a full-on, in other role-playing games, you roll initiative and we do turn by turn by turn until one side falls down. What we're going to do is like a 5-second burst of animation. When you watch Avatar or you read the comics, there's usually these really cool coordinated fight scenes that have boom, 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 pause, boom, 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 boom. An exchange is one of those first like flurries of blows. So all we're going to do is some quick combat action, and then when we resolve it, we can jump back into like intimidating each other, trying to run away, etc. So what's going to happen here is first, you, Karru, are going to choose your approach for how you're in dealing with this situation. You can either try to defend and maneuver, advance and attack, or evade and observe. I think you probably want to advance and attack.
This I'm going to level with you here, Simon. This is Smash.
Yes. I knew in my head immediately, I was like, that's the technique you're going to go for. So you're going to choose that. What I'm doing as the NPCs is I'm going to secretly choose which of my approaches each of the NPCs in the encounter is going to be dealing, or is going to try and go for. So when I know you're advancing and attacking, but I've already signaled that they're probably going to try and go in and punch you. So I've chosen my approach, you've chosen your approach. Once we've done that, we're going to resolve them one at a time in order from defend and maneuver, advance and attack, evade and observe, for everyone that's involved, right? If nobody's doing anything, we don't do that step. So nobody, now I'm going to reveal they're going to advance and attack. Surprise, surprise. Nobody's defending and maneuvering, so nothing happens there. When we get to advance and attack, Karru's going to roll and add your passion stat. And we're going to find out how good you can smash.
So, I mean, because I've got the skill, walls can't hold me as well. So even if this was relying on training, I'd still be rolling with passion.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, here we go. So that is a 7. I could add my 2. So are we rolling off, or am I looking for...
You're just using it's the standard resolution, so...
Okay.
A 7
so
a plus 2 will just bring you a 9,
help.
which won't do anything.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's not so bad. So you're going to get to go first. You're going to get to do your thing. In mechanically, all of these things are more or less happening at the same time, even though we're resolving them in order. So on a 7 and 9, you get to use one basic or a mastered technique. There are 3 basic techniques for each approach. So what you can choose to do from is strike, pressure, or smash. And you're choosing to smash, right?
Yeah, I also am fueled by anger. So I can mark angry to use an additional basic or master technique when I advance an attack, even if I miss.
Would you like to do that?
I would love to do that.
All right. So we see the rage that has been bubbling in Karru since this morning. Like, I'm going to beat you down, you punks. So you're going to smash first, right? To smash, you mark a fatigue, so it takes you a little bit of effort to do, and you're going to destroy or destabilize something in the environment, possibly inflicting or overcoming a fictionally appropriate positive or negative status. So those things like prepared, there are other things like impaired, trapped, stunned, etc. In this moment, because you're just trying to punch through the wall, I think all you do is you do that, and it looks cool, right? What's that look like? You like levitate the rock?
Yeah, so as I said, it's that sort of spinning heel kick, but as the heel sort of like flicks through the air, it like launches the rock directly, probably just whizzes right past them, and just like tears open a hole in these like huts or the wall or whatever it is. Hopefully like hitting maybe like a support beam or something, like really doing some damage. Like I want everyone to know that something's going down.
So I think this is there's like a wooden palisade that's been very crudely built up. It's just those sharpened wooden sticks. This is a very quick pop-up camp. They're not expecting anyone to step in and attack. Why would they? And this boulder, this huge chunk of rock, just goes sailing through it and splinters. Baku, Shur, and Vabeau, you all hear this crunch noise as the wood just disintegrates.
It's happening.
Probably your signal to move. You've marked angry, so you get to do an additional thing. Would you like to strike or pressure?
Strike or seize a position, or strike or pressure?
So we have the new moves in the list here.
Okay.
In the quick start. So you're working on the last one, which is fine.
Got it. All right, sorry, that's fine.
You're okay. Things change very quickly. So you can strike or pressure. Strike being you can either force them to take fatigue, mark a condition, or shift their balance, which is another way to take them out. Or you can mark a fatigue and force them to take 2 fatigue, or force them to take a condition, rather than letting them choose which of the effects they can take. If you pressure them, then you're going to impress or intimidate them and choose an approach which they can't use in the next exchange. So if they decide to keep fighting, you can be like, you can't advance an attack, for example.
So because I'm fueled by anger, apparently I do get +1 ongoing to intimidate others. Would that help out in this situation?
Not in this particular situation. If you made the move intimidate someone, it would apply.
And that's after we've had our little scuffle bit.
Right. The last
Okay,
thing,
yeah.
not to throw a million options at you at once, but on a 7 to 9, you can use a mastered technique as well. And you are the hammer. The hammer.
Oh.
Every playbook, this is something else fun for everyone, every playbook gets a special fighting technique. So every approach has 3 basic techniques that everyone can always use, right? Anyone who's fighting knows how to do these things. Anyone can smash, anyone can strike. But only each playbook gets a special technique, and the hammer's is overwhelm, which you can use when you advance an attack. If you want, you can throw a punch that has all of your weight behind it, mark 3 fatigue, and stun them, which means they can't do anything while they recover.
I mean,
Just gonna put that on the table for you.
yeah. I mean, look. Let's overwhelm them.
Yeah, perfect. So you're gonna mark 3 fatigue on your character sheet. It takes a lot of effort to be like, "Ugh!" And you inflict stunned on them. What is this overwhelming attack look like for you?
It says a punch, but I think in actual fact,
Yeah.
like they hear the destruction behind them and probably like whip around, and at that point, I sort of like pull that rock back and try and like smack them in the head with it.
Oh, so
Maybe
you kind
sort
of
of, like-
yo-yo it.
Yeah,
wow.
exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what
So
happens.
maybe it's like after the spinning heel kick, I think he sort of plants his heel into the ground and almost just sort of like grinds it back through the dirt, which sort of pulls that rock back out and into them.
Yeah, I love it. So what happens in the fiction is the rock smashes through. They're going to resolve their approach and then take the stunned condition, even though you've already inflicted it. Because they still
Yeah,
get to
that's
do
fine,
their
that's
actions. You
fine.
can't be taken out in an exchange. You're kind of all trading blows, and then someone will fall over if they do, if they need to. So what they were going to do is just strike. So you smash the boulder through the wall, it splinters, and then they like look back like, okay, now it's a fight. And they kick up chunks of rock themselves out of the stonework, like little flagstones, and each of them does parallel moves to what you just did. They do spinning heel kicks and snap the flagstones back at you, just battering you with their earthbending. So you're going to get to choose. Would you like to mark 2 fatigue?
I
That
probably
you've
won't
already
do
just
that.
marked a bunch of. You're at 4 out of 5 by my math.
Yeah.
That would take you out.
Yeah.
You can mark a condition, or you can shift your balance away from your center. Which of those 3 would you like to do?
What happens if I shift all the way to the end of force?
Ah, if you go all the way to the end at +3 force, -3 care, that's fine. If you go beyond that,
Right.
what happens is you lose your balance. Because every
Is that
character is trying to
+3?
maintain balance.
Does that +3 help in any way, the force?
It does when you live up to your principle. So every
Okay.
character can always say, when they're taking any action, they can say, I'm using my principle of blank, and describe how they're living up to that ideal, right? If you're trying to force someone into submission by saying, like, you're not going to hurt these people anymore, or I'm going to break you, right? You could say, I'm living up to my ideal of force, and add your +3 instead of whatever stat you would normally do. The reason you can't go around doing it all the time is it costs you a fatigue each time you do it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
that
the
doesn't help
benefit
me
to
right
shifting
now.
your thing up higher. But if you lose your balance, bad things happen. You lose control of yourself.
Okay, here's what we're going to do then. I'm
Shoot.
going to mark foolish, which
Yes.
I think is very apt.
Very apt.
You could also
Okay.
use your prepared thing at some point during this. I don't know how it would
You
help,
could
but-
spend prepared to avoid marking the condition,
Oh, that's true.
if you like.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this was part of the plan, right?
This was the plan. You were going to go in and make a distraction.
It
and you
can't
made
be
a
that
distraction.
foolish because everybody else let me do it.
So it's bam, rock goes flying, smash. They come at you. They return fire. And the second you're like throwing your hands up and like blocking the strikes with your big muscly arms. Plink, plink, plink. You pull the rock back and boom, it crushes them and they just sort of stumble around with little cartoon birds flying
Oh,
around.
no.
Their legs. They're like, oh, Street Fighter, I'm dizzy. They can't do anything. They're stunned. We jump cut to Shur and Bo. What are you
Okay.
doing?
I think Vabeau looks at Shur and says, okay, we've done some pretty wild stuff already, but hear me out with this one. So, presumably...
Now? You want to discuss now? You want to discuss? What? You had a plan.
There's like crashing buildings and screaming in the background.
He's fine for a bit. Just listen for like 5 seconds, okay? So presumably all the ramen in that pot is gone now. That's an empty pot, alright?
I know, it's a shame. I'm kind of hungry, but...
Yeah, it's fine. What if I get those fireworks, some of those fireworks, put them in the pot, transfer them over to the military base itself, and let it go?
Why does the pot have to be involved?
Carry the fireworks. I can't carry that many on my own.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, okay.
And you, would you like to go and help, our large and rock friend? No?
I mean, I guess this wasn't part. I feel a bit thrown off now. I'm out of my rhythm.
Hey, what
This was
was
not
your
part
plan?
of the
Do you have an alternative? A very fast alternative?
I mean, we just go and do what we were originally gonna do.
And that was...
I assume, Simon, that like part of the plan was gonna be like we go in there and we do a little sabotage.
Yeah, you sneak in, you light the fuses or something, and then you get out, right?
Yeah.
The fireworks
But this is different.
are in the... I'm just thinking,
Uh-huh.
we can light... Maybe we can light some of the fireworks in the warehouse, but if we put some of the fireworks in the military base itself, much more effective. No?
Sure. I mean, but that's kind of a distraction. But we've already got a distraction going on. It's
Well,
the Rock Man.
I mean, yeah, but the idea was we blow the military base up, right? That was the idea, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I mean we just
Yeah.
get rid of the fireworks. I'm gonna go.
It's Ty with you.
What's happening?
Am I misremembering it? I swear the idea was Ty was asking us to blow the military base up, right?
Yeah,
Not
we
just the
use
fireworks,
if
like-
we've got to sabotage the fireworks and we'll blow up the camp
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that the soldiers
okay.
can't invade. Right?
Yeah.
So what I think is happening is as you're like trying to be like, no, this is all part of the plan for real. It's not what you said, but it's still in service to the thing. It sounds like Vabeau is trying to call on Shur to live up to Shur's principle, which is confidence or loyalty. I think it's loyalty in this case. That's like not believe in me. It's like believe in my plan, not what you said. You have to trust me. I know you think you know best, but I have this idea and I need you to make it work. I need your help, right? Does that sound accurate to you, Vabeau?
Yeah, I think the thing is Vabeau is not as creative as like Shur. So this doesn't happen very often. But I think she saw like the situation. She saw that she had a sudden brainwave of like, this could be more effective if we manage to get the fireworks like into the base itself. I just need you to kind of help me with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trust me with it. Yeah.
I think Shur kind of is panicking and deviating
I
from the
think
plan. Is
Vabeau
like
is
not
sat there like semi-squatting, just going...
Right.
yeah, deviating from the plan is not her strong suit, but she looks at Vabeau, she looks at Bobo, she looks back at Vabeau, she looks over at
Karru,
who seems to be getting weaker and weaker as time goes on.
I think seeing Shur like eyes, like her eyes like zipping around, like not quite sure, she like takes hold of Shur's hands and looks at her in the eye and says, "Look, I believe in you. I know there's a lot of stuff going on up there, but you are strong. You know how to fight. This is what you do. Sure, the wars before, the battles before, they were the ones that you should have fought. But now you can. You can fight the wars. You can fight the battles that you want to fight."
So that, yeah, I think that's the trigger for
That's
for
like
this. Like,
idealist,
it's really
like-
good, yeah.
Yeah.
You're hyping her up, right? There's at least 2 moves that are being triggered here, but we're going to focus on one. Which principle do you think you're trying to push Shur to live up to? Is it confidence or loyalty?
I think
That sort of sounded like
confidence-
loyalty to me, or confidence more to me in the moment.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you can
Like
do
be
this.
confident in the fact that yeah, I know previously when you fought, like you did bad things, but you can fight and do good. Like it's not always, the consequences are not always, oh no, I did a bad.
Oops.
I did a bad.
Fighting can be about defending people, not
Yeah.
just destroying things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're going with confidence here. So shift your balance away from the center. Sure. Sorry, you misspoke. Vabeau,
Hello.
shift your balance away from your center,
Okay.
because you're calling on someone else to do this thing.
Yeah.
And then we're going with confidence that you're trying to call on Shur to live up to.
Yeah.
So you're gonna roll and add whatever Shur's confidence is.
Oh, okay.
So
So
what is
I'm
your
gonna roll,
confidence?
or
Vabeau's gonna roll
Both will
to
roll.
try and convince you to do this thing. So
Okay.
Shur, what is your confidence currently at?
currently at -1.
Ooh.
Okay. So go ahead and roll, Vabeau, and take -1.
Ugh. Come on,
Very
baby.
confident right now.
Shur's not feeling very confident right now.
Oh, I'm a bit lost.
Actually, loyalty. Yeah, 6.
Okay.
Um,
Do you want to spend your prepared?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Because
Prepared
not
for
just
this
because
unpreparedness.
this would be good, but also because I feel like this is a very key character moment for Vabeau, because she is an
Yeah.
idealist. This is what she's done. She
Yeah.
she fills people with the fire of the revolution.
Yeah. She inspires people to live
Yeah.
up to be the best versions of themselves. Right? The music is swelling, right? All the chaos of everything else around you like fades until we have this character moment of just the two of you staring at each other. Vabeau earnestly looking at Shur's eyes. What will Shur do? On a hit, they are called to act as you say. They must either do it or mark a condition.
I'm
On
gonna do
7-9, they challenge your view of the world in turn. So Vabeau, you're going to mark a fatigue, or Shur gets to shift your balance however she wants.
okay.
Because you're learning from each other in this moment. of, like,
Oh.
so
cool.
Shur, like, Vabeau's like, you need to do this, and I believe in you. You don't have to be always fighting. You're a soldier, but you're not a killer, blah, 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 right? All this stuff. So you're feeling it, Shur. You're either going to go with the plan, or you're going to mark a condition and be like, oh no,
Well,
this is confusing. Which of those do you want to do first? We'll do that.
Can I
I
just?
will.
Yeah.
Yes?
Okay, do that first, because
Yeah.
Okay.
do that first, and then do
Okay.
the thing that I need to do.
Cool.
Okay.
I will go with the plan. Wait, no,
Okay.
not with what Vabeau is saying. Can I do that?
You will gain confidence.
Yes,
You're gonna go
I
with
would like to
plan
do
A.
Gain
that.
confidence
Addendum
in
1.
yourself, and you're going to kind of go along with Vabeau's
Yeah.
like push. Okay.
Surprise.
Great.
Okay.
You're also in the process going to challenge Vabeau's worldview,
Okay.
because this is something that you're like, but I don't know if I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not what we agreed on, and but you're not thinking about these things, right? Vabeau's so caught up in her own world, she's not thinking about the other consequences.
Yeah,
so
just
for
kind of
sure,
like, yeah, not everything is about deviating from the plan and making sure that and being a hero, and sometimes you have to do things as they are written. Stick with the, do you not see that?
Can I just suggest something quickly? Because
Please.
like it's either I take fatigue or my balance is shifted, isn't it?
yes, and when your balance shifts, it's however Shur wants to push it.
Obviously it's your decision, but like the other side of my balance is it's forgiveness, which I think would be quite fitting considering your history with as being a member of the Fire Nation military. We're gaining this empathetic connection, and maybe that means that I'm actually like gaining some forgiveness of like the system or people from the system that destroyed my life. So would that maybe be like I'm just thinking
Yeah.
that would be quite appropriate, maybe.
I mean, so forgiveness, and then what's the other option? Just so I know.
Action. So my other side is action. So that's like I need to. The cause is everything, and the other side is like the forgiveness of like I interpret that as forgiving the people that did this to me, or like
Okay.
caused this suffering. Yeah.
I'm happy to go with forgiveness just because maybe you can kind of see that I'm not a monster.
Yeah, we're
So-
gaining like an empathetic connection.
You're learning something
Yeah.
about each other in this
Yeah.
moment, right? And Vabeau's been in action mode this whole time.
Yeah.
Now Vabeau is like softening. Yeah. Okay, so you're gonna shift your balance towards forgiveness. Vabeau,
Okay.
it sounds like. Okay, so the last things that we see in this moment are poor Baku and Shur are just hanging out by the wall while the two of you are having this tender moment of like, are we going? What's happening here? Even Shur is looking back, like up at Baku expectantly, like, "Rrr?" You hear the sounds of chaos and
Noodles out the
combat.
mouth.
Right, tripping the whiskers, the chaos and combat in front of the gates, right, the distractions happening. And inside the military encampment, a figure walks out of the tent. A familiar, intimidating, burly soldier in heavy armor who has his helmet in his hands and he prepares to put it on. We see the familiar face of Captain Amano, the second in command of the person you stole the plans from, who looks out and goes, "Now what fresh hell have I walked into?" And clicks his helmet on. And that's where we're going to pause.
Amazing.
Thank you very much, Simon. That was incredible. As ever, we will have the next and final episode live a week today, so next Saturday. So please stay tuned for that. Simon, please tell us where we can tell... Yeah, that was almost a sentence. Simon, please tell us where we can find out more about you and about Avatar, the Legends RPG.
Excellent. Yes. I'm Simon. You can find me on Twitter at Lucha Libris, which has links to all of the stuff that I do. I wear many hats, and you can check it all out there. And for the game, Avatar Legends is on Kickstarter now when you watch this, so you can go to Kickstarter and check it out. If you go to magpiegames.com and at magpieofficial on Twitter, you should be able to find it. I believe the link for the Kickstarter itself is magpiegames.com/dis-avatar. And if it's not, you
And
can
we're
yell
also-
at me in the comments.
We're also going to have it in the description
Should be
of
in
this
the
video as
description.
well. So yeah, go ahead and click on it through there. Thank you very much for running this for us, Simon. We're excited to see what happens in the next episode. But if you want to find out, then you should definitely hit the subscribe button below this video right now on youtube.com/Dicebreaker. You can also click the bell icon to get notified whenever we put a new video live. We post all kinds of tabletop stuff here, from discussions to let's plays to reviews, whatever you can think of. If it's tabletop related, we're probably doing it. And that same philosophy goes for Dicebreaker.com, where Matt Jarvis and Alex Meehan and Chase Carter and all of our fantastic contributors are writing loads and loads of articles about things like Avatar and beyond, so go and have a look at that as well. Finally, you can now support the channel even further in two different ways. You can either become a member of Dicebreaker Plus, which is our subscription service here on YouTube, where you can get all sorts of exclusive extra content, but you can also grab some merch from Dicebreaker.myshopify.com. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the third and final episode, but until then, have a lovely day. Goodbye.
Bye.